So, hi everyone and welcome back to the next video. In the last recording, we took a look on the basic concepts of how to work with Mural, and I hope you took the chance and you got into it and you were experimenting with it, and maybe you also took some notes or you reflected how your first confrontation with Mural felt, because what you experienced is pretty much the same thing as your audience will experience. And I don't know how you felt about working with Mural for the first time, but what I realized when working with groups for the first time was that people confronted with the blank mural sometimes feel a little bit lost. So, especially if they are not part of the digital natives generation, or if they are not so close with IT topics, then they end up in front of this white blank mural, and some of them start working on the left, some of them working on the right. Some of them use very small sticky notes, other ones use the big ones. And so it's everything a little bit confusing, and structure is basically missing. So what we can do about this is that if we consider our blank mural as we have created in the previous video, then we could try to give them some framework which provides some orientation. So a close thought here is to don't take a white mural, a blank mural, but rather make it look like a comfortable situation or a familiar situation. So for example, let's design a mural that looks like a seminar room that we are known from hotels or any other locations where we deliver our on-site trainings. So let's take a look how we can deal with this. So the first thing that we need some basic texture element, the graphics, that looks like a typical room. So what we can do here is we just can open our browser and we search, for example, for, I don't know, room textures. Okay, so we find plenty of pictures. Okay, maybe these here are not so well suited, but there are some pictures out there that can be helpful. So what I like to use here is to go to the freepik.com page, www.freepik.com, because here we can find some pictures that we can use for private and also for commercial purpose. So this is some very relevant aspect. Whenever you use images that someone created, please take care that you really have the rights to use them, give the necessary attribution, and just ensure that everything is fine. Don't just copy any picture that you find on the internet. So here at Freepik, this is just one example. There are plenty others existing as well. But here at Freepik, for example, we could search for, I don't know, wooden brick floor, something like that. And here we already find some nice images that we could use as the background for our mural. So, and if you open this picture, for example, here you already find the license, which says it's free for a personal and commercial purpose with attribution. So this means that whenever you use the picture, you need to provide the accurate attribution, which means that you reference the author in the show notes, or that you have a credit section, or whatever you use in your trainings. I typically have a dedicated credits section that I use in my handouts for this reason. So I could download it right now to get the JPEG file, but of course I'm prepared, so I already did the download. And here I can just jump over to my Explorer. I have my textures folder, and here I have some different textures like the wooden brick floor, and I just integrate the wooden brick floor by drag and drop. Let's make it big again, and there we go. And now we can resize this picture. So maybe something like this. Okay. Good. Now it doesn't fit very well. The mural is a little bit too big, so we could resize the mural if we want to make it fitting. Or what we also could do is we could crop the picture, because in that case, this particular picture, I think there's a little bit too much of the floor space. So I would prefer to increase a little bit like this and maybe readjust it a bit like that. Maybe that's not enough. Still too much floor. Something like this. Okay. And now I could crop the picture. Select the crop functionality. And here the picture is a little bit out of sight. So I'm going to zoom out in my browser. Zoom out so I can resize it until it fits with the mural like this. Hitting the enter button. Okay, and now we already have a nice background for our framework. So to prevent that every time that I click somewhere, I'm moving around with this, I can lock it. So just right click on the image and select lock. And I say only facilitators can unlock. Maybe I should readjust this to 100% again. So you see everything. Okay. Okay, and now we have the background. And now we can start and use some furniture to make the room more comfortable or equip it with different stuff that we need. So the typical things that I'm using here is, the first thing is a flip chart. So I already have some images prepared. And these images that I'm going to integrate right now are basically are PNG images with a transparent background. And you can find some of them in the internet, which are also free to use. But I personally have bought some licenses from, I think it was Shutterstock or iStock or something like that, because yeah, it's more easy. Okay, so let's integrate the flip chart first. I take one flip chart with a free feed stand like this. Okay, so we have a flip chart. I can lock it again to not move around. Only facilitators can unlock. And maybe, yeah, we could integrate some flower pots as well. So I have different flower pots available already here. I just take a few of them. Okay, maybe we also would like to have our company logo. I also have one prepared like this. Okay, and give it a little bit organization. Make the logo a little bit bigger and lock it again. Maybe we place one flower pot right here. So, okay, I need to select this one and look outside a little bit as well. It doesn't matter. Okay, and let's lock it again. I can't access it. Bring it to the front first, probably. No, doesn't matter. So anyway, you see it's a little bit difficult here to access this element. If there are too many elements here, that can be a little bit annoying. But I will show you in a few minutes a pro tip how to deal with that to not have these problems. Anyway, let's move on with equipping our room. So, okay, that's it. Let's lock this one. Only facilitators can unlock. Okay. And so we have a pretty nice room, which on the one hand looks nice. And on the other hand, by being a copy of a physical situation, people will have a kind of a relation. They will have some idea of the sizes to be used. Like the flip chart, for example, they imagine what's the size. So it helps them to better find themselves inside the situation again. So using the flower pots and the flip chart is not just for fun. The main goal is to provide a framework where people can relate to. Okay, so what's next? The next thing is we are going to prepare our training situation. So typically the training situation, it delivers an introduction to the exercise. Then we have some workspace for collaboration for the participants, and maybe we also have another place for the resolution of the exercise or for a reflection. So what I typically do is I use the flip chart on the left side to place the training, the assignment and the task that needs to be done. So I just move to my other monitor and I take a screenshot of just any random PowerPoint slide. Just imagine that this picture that I'm going to insert here is a PowerPoint slide with a training, with the assignment. So here you find all the tasks that need to be done by the participants. And here we can, of course, we can zoom in by using the scroll wheel from the mouse, or if you want to, you also can hit the X key like this, and then you have the option to move your cursor over the element. Oh, it's not, now it's loaded, and then you already see what's there. So this is just a nice and quick option to inspect the elements without zooming in, zooming out. Matter of taste. Okay, and the next thing that we need is we need some workplace. And for that reason, I always prefer to use some freeform frameworks like this. So I just integrate my framework, and maybe this one is your exercise space. And what I do is I set the background color to white, and I give it a certain frame like this. And now it already looks a little bit like a normal whiteboard that you would have in a classroom or in a seminar room. So this is already a pretty nice thing. And here the people can work. And sometimes I also provide a second whiteboard, which basically is intended to, I don't know, to reflect the exercise or to give some second task, whatever. I just copy this one, and maybe let's reduce the size a little bit. Maybe that's a good size. It doesn't matter. I think you get the point. Okay, and so we already have some nice exercise plays with one whiteboard for the exercise, one for your reflection. I don't know. Okay, and basically this now is something that really helps participants to find into the exercise. At least this is my experience. Something else that I often do is I integrate already one sticky note, and I say, I don't know, have fun with the exercise, because by already placing a sticky note here, make it a little bit smaller, then participants already get an idea that they also can use smaller sticky notes, which is more economic in terms of the space. Because otherwise they often don't zoom in, they just use the big picture, use sticky notes like that size, and yeah, then they run out of space. So I integrate one, keep it small, and again we can zoom in with the scroll wheel, or we can use the X key to hover over it, and we see what's standing there. Okay, so now we already have our room, we already have the different areas for working. And now I would like to show you something which can help you to orchestrate your exercises. And this is basically the functionality of using the outline. So what we can do is, for example, we take this element here, it's a picture, and we can say add to outline. And here the outline opens, and I call this one exercise introduction because it doesn't have a title yet. Then I can use this whiteboard, add it to the outline again, add to outline. This one is your workspace. And the third one, same thing, right click, add to outline. Yep, reflection, something like that. Okay, and what we can do with the outline now is we can add some further instructions, like exercise instructions, read carefully and do task 1, task 2, task 3. So we can use it here to give some additional information. And what's also very useful is if you, for example, if you reflect on the exercise together with the participants, then you can just click on the elements on the outline here to automatically zoom to the referencing space, like the workspace or the reflection here. So you get the full screen zoom. So this is a very nice option here. Yeah, and then in the end, let's lock all the unlocked elements. Lock, only facilitators can unlock. Lock, only facilitators can unlock. Okay, and this is basically how our training room or the exercise room could look like. And now imagine all the people all the participants of a group will receive the link. They jump into the mural. They have the communication channel open, and here they can collaborate. And this is at least to my experience, this is a very appealing way of working together, and people typically find into the exercise very quickly. Okay, and then the last thing here, which is a pro tip. You maybe have realized that when we work with too many elements, and sometimes it's a little bit tricky to really select the one element that we wanted to choose and to move it around. And if we cannot select it like this, then we can use the shift key and select it like that. And yeah, it's working. It's a workaround. If I bring it to the front, then I also can select it now. But this can be annoying. And in particular, what you don't want to have in that situation, you don't want to have one of these elements being in the front or something, and participants put a sticky note behind them, and then they cannot select the sticky note anymore. So my pro tip here is that instead of creating the murals as we have done here, my pro tip is to prepare your individual template pictures with all the elements that you want to have, for example, in PowerPoint, and then just use the whole background and integrate it as one picture, which makes things much more easy. Also, if you want to instantiate more exercise rooms. So such a PowerPoint could look, for example, like this one here. This is just one that I created quickly for the training here. And here you already see the room, which has a one size dimension. And of course, you also can switch the size of the rooms. Here is another one. Same principle as before. We have the flip chart, we have the flower pots, we have a background texture. Or you also can use a double size room like this one. And here I prefer to separate the rooms, for example, with a pillar in the middle. So we can have some work on the left side. Maybe this is the initial work. Then we make a theory block again. And then we make a second exercise, which basically uses elements from the first exercise. So we can go to the right side. But this is, here everything is possible. It's up to your fantasy. You can make the rooms big, you can make them small, just as you would prepare the exercise space in your on-site trainings. Yeah, and in the end, what we do, we just select all the elements, and we can either save it as a picture, save as picture, or we just can say Control C, and we go to a mural, like this one here. Let's create the new mural. So here we have a new mural. I choose a blank one, create the mural. It's an untitled one, of course. Control V. And there we go. Here is my picture. And of course, I need to resize the mural. Doesn't matter exactly. Now we increase the picture. We resize the mural to fit to the picture. And we lock the picture. Only facilitators can lock. Okay, I didn't care for the left side, but you get the point. And so you already have a nice background, and you can just start with integrating some whiteboards like this. Make it black, and your workspace is done. So you see, after creating your templates, this is a matter of 1 or 2 minutes, and you already have the exercise rooms finished. Maybe put it to the outline again without the title this time. Same thing for this one. Add to outline, and that's it. And we can zoom to it. Okay, so I really hope that this one gives you an idea how to prepare a mural for the exercises. And now I would encourage you to give it a try and try to prepare a mural in the same way as we have seen it here in the video. You can play around, you can use your fantasy, you can integrate elements. Feel free, just as if you would put some furniture into a real room. And yeah, let's take a look how this one works for you. And in the next video, I will show you some more concepts how to use templates in Mural, because typically you instantiate an already populated training room for more times, at least for every training group that you have. And maybe you give the same training in a frequent basis, then we would like to be a little bit more faster. So in the next video, we will talk about how to use templates. And I also will show you some example murals and some example exercises to maybe give you some inspiration. Okay, I hope this was fun for you. See you in the next video and enjoy experimenting, and let's take a look where this can help you. See you in the next video.